Okay, here we go. This is an S10 Drop Spindle. I purchased it on eBay for like 120 bucks. I was actually looking for A-body drop spindles that work with the metric calipers. So this place was so cheap it was too good to be true. So what they sent me was S10 spindles. And I know the S10 spindles will work on an A-body, like, you know, an old Chevelle or whatever. But there's some complications that you run into. One of the problems that you'll find is, you see the shank? This is a taller ball joint that works with the S10. And here's the standard AC Delco original equipment replacement. And let's take a look at the difference. Besides the longer shank, you can see the space between here and here versus about 1/4 inch. So this one here is wider in this area. So in order to make the S10 ball joint fit in there, you're going to have to either expand this, which is not a good idea, or shave this down, which, you know, you could cut too much off of it or not enough. If you don't cut enough off of it, you can crack this area here when you're pressing it on and not even know it until it's too late. So instead of sending this back, I did need to purchase ball joints. Those S10 ball joints were just some cheapy ones. So here's the ball joint that came out of it, and it's pretty loose in this area. Yeah, it's no good. So anyways, my next step was to purchase a reamer. And basically you go in here and you got to ream this thing out. There's a little white line there. Not sure. Yeah, you can see it there. Well, I got to get it, maybe it's got to go in maybe another 3/16 to a 1/4 inch. So when I put the Carter pin in there, there you go. You could barely see the hole for the Carter pin. So when I put the Carter pin in there, it will slide through that hole there. So the shank needs to come out a little bit, so that's why I went to going with the ream job on it. So after I did all that, this is the other side, which is almost complete. Nothing's rubbing. So the drum brake wheels will work with S10 spindles. You do not have to buy the drop spindles. Just if you go down a junkyard, you can just find, like, this is a S10 rotor, S10 caliper. You can find all this stuff in a junkyard. Just look for an S10 or a G body. And the only problem is, once you get it on there, you're gonna have to shave some of the material off of here. It actually rubs right in here, and it rubs in here. I probably removed almost 1/4 inch, at least 3/16 of an inch. And it rubs a lot in the area in the middle. You may not think so, but also in this area right in here. There's nothing on the bottom, so you can actually cut this as thin as you want. It's not going to make any difference. And this is still pretty thick in this area. I mean, it's at least 5/16 of an inch, and it's not gonna snap off. This particular vehicle here, let's set the phone down for a sec. it just has a little 283 in it, so I'm not looking to do any racing in it. Just cruise around in it, and if I decide to drive it in the rain, I ain't gonna have any problem with this thing being all squirrely. Plus, I didn't want to dump any money into getting the old brake system up to 100%. So I did replace the master. I got a universal manual or power master. So later on, if I want to change it to power brakes, I can. I didn't put the proportioning valve on it. I don't know if you can see down there. I could add the proportioning valve later to eliminate uneven braking. What this will do is will restrict or actually hold some of the pressure by making adjustments on it. So I could put this on there. It's not no big deal, but if it don't need it, I'm not going to put it on there. I'm going to drive it around first. Here's a cup. Here's an S10 spindle. You can see just the position of the spindle itself. This one sits more in the center, where this one's on the edge. So there you go. If you want to lower it, I've got another suggestion for you. When you if you just want to put stock spindles in there, all you do is you take the very last coil off here off the bottom and just remove one link. Just make sure you find where it's going to line up with the saddle here, because there is an indentation like over in this area here. So you take the coil and you cut it to that particular area, and it'll actually make it easier to slide the coils in and out, and it won't affect the ride. I've done it before. Here's one of my other projects here. This one has drop spindles on it, and I had to put a really small tire on there, because if you put the other type with the larger standard type drop spindles on it with the 11-inch rotors as opposed to the 10-inch, what happens is it pushes the wheel outward, and you can have a problem with your tires rubbing, and it limits the selection too. So that's why I preferred to go with the S10 type or the metric type or G-body type spindles, because they don't set the wheel in out further. Because if it's out further, when you go over bumps, they'll hit in this area in here, and you don't need any rubbing. So there you go. Good luck.